Jose, what a challenge for lawyers. Every conversation your client has in every social visit, it's recorded.
Not only is it recorded, it's analyzed and microanalyzed and played again, and comments are made to make a story, and things are taken out of context, and you really don't get a grasp of who Casey is through these tapes at all.
Well, you know, I get sort of I've been on both sides of this. I mean, the media, and of course, we love to get these so that we could get more information about the case. On the other hand, I can only imagine trying to sort of battle this, but this is the Florida law.
That it is. You know, we have a system, and we have to work within the system, and that goes both ways, and that's certainly one of the things we have to deal with.
All right, now you said moments ago that we don't get any sense of who Kaylee is by these videotapes. What do you mean by that?
Casey.
Casey, I mean.
Casey is just certainly not the person that she's being painted out to be. I've had ample opportunity over the last 7 months to get to know her, and she is certainly nothing like what's being portrayed.
I assume, based on the fact that everything is recorded except for legal visits, your visits aren't recorded, are they?
I certainly hope not.
Well, I hope not, too. All right, but I assume that means that it's smart just to cut off all visits.
Well, you know, her family's very concerned about her, and she misses her family dearly. But because of this, because of the microanalysis that's going on, I've had to advise her that, look, this is not something that is in your best interest. And fortunately, she trusts me and trusts that we're doing the right thing for her and is following our advice.
All right, now, we're in the pretrial stage, and you filed motions. What's pending now for the court to sort of resolve that's sort of important to this case for you?
Well, what we're mostly concerned with, and my #1 priority right now, is to try and get all of the forensic reports back while we have Kaylee with us. I currently have that grand responsibility, and we want the toxicology results. We want all of the medical examiner's information, so that way our independent experts can do their tests, and that way we can then turn over Kaylee's remains to her family for a proper burial.
Why don't you have that? I mean, has the prosecution completed its autopsy and completed its forensic tests?
They have.
So what's the problem? I mean, I mean, that should be like they roll the card over, here it is.
Well, I trust that they're doing everything they can to get things to us and in a proper and efficient amount of time, but certainly this is something we want to do now, and we want to get these results so that way we could do what we have to do so that Kaylee can be buried.
I guess I go back to it. I don't mean to pound you. I guess I should have the prosecution here for that. But I mean, if they've got the tests done, and you need the information so you can conduct your autopsy, which the rules provide for, I assume, is that, and so then that this child can be buried, it seems like it's a pretty easy thing. Just get the records over to the defense. Correct,
and that's something we've been fighting for since the very beginning. If you recall, once we believed that this was tentatively ID'd as Kaylee, we wanted to go in there right away, but we were denied that fact. So we have tried to stay on their tails, to get these things done quickly, so that this girl can have her proper burial, and that's what we have a job to do, a duty, but at the same time we're conscientious of of everything else that's going around, and it's no small task, I can tell you.
Her lawyer is still with us. They're almost identical. I mean,
practically the same. They're cookie cutter courtrooms, so yes.
All right, now, in the event this case is tried in this courthouse, it would be much like this room, but this case has gotten so much publicity locally as well as nationally. Do you expect to ask that it be moved to another jurisdiction within the state?
Oh, absolutely. We've already completed our motion for change of venue. We're set to have a hearing shortly. Exactly when that, of course, would depend on the calendar of the judge.
And, of course, the reason is that's because you're looking for a jury pool that can be fair to, well, we always say fair to both sides, but both sides really want one sort of skewed in his or her favor, whether it's the prosecution or defense, right? Fair enough?
Well, we want a fair and impartial jury, and that's all we can hope for. And due to the local coverage here, that's really been overwhelming. We feel that it's in the best interest of justice to have it moved somewhere where the local coverage just isn't as heavy as it is here.
Does your client watch all the local coverage? Can she see that in the jail?
Not a whole lot of it. She only gets 1 hour a week of television time, so it's very little, and I doubt she's going to spend that hour watching the news.
Does she have any clue? I mean, I realize that because she's semi-isolated, she's in protective custody, but does she have any idea the level of national attention on this case?
Yes, she does. I mean, you can recall she was also out for about a month and a half, so she got a good glimpse of it during that period. And I keep her abreast of everything that's going on the outside to a certain extent. A lot of the foolishness that goes on in the media, I spare her. And in fact, I try to spare myself of that sometimes. But the majority of it, I do keep her informed of what the latest developments are, what's being said that's relevant, and what's being said that's not necessarily so.
In the prison system, the lowest of low is a child killer. Now, she, of course, she's not been convicted of anything. She's accused of that. But I'm curious, is she being taunted by others within the jail? Because she's been accused of the crime that in the jail system, or the prison system, is the lowest of low.
Well, she's been convicted in the public eye.
But how about in the jail? Are people taunting her, other inmates, anything like that, giving her a hard time?
She's held in an area of protective custody where other inmates are also in protective custody, so, and she's pretty much in isolation. She doesn't get a whole lot of that, and fortunately Orange County Sheriff's Office, the jail department, has been very professional in dealing with her, and we're grateful for that.
All right, so you've got motions filed. You're waiting to get information from the prosecution so the defense can conduct an autopsy yourself, and then Kaylee will be laid to rest. The family can do the funeral, the grandparents. Then you get to depose the witness list from the prosecution. They can depose your witness list, which is, I think, probably unique to Florida in a criminal case. When do you set a trial date?
Well, we have status conferences throughout the discovery process, and at those conferences, both sides have to keep the judge informed as to how we're moving along. And it's basically up to the discretion of the judge, absent a demand for a speedy trial being filed. But in the state of Florida, when you demand a speedy trial, as the defense could do, you are advising simultaneously to the court that you're done with discovery. So obviously we can't do that until we're absolutely finished with discovery.
I've got 10 seconds left, so tell me, when is this hearing? When is the hearing or the decision likely to be made on change of venue of this trial, where this trial is likely to be?
I would say within the next month.
All right. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.